there's no drama like college football drama, and the SEC, well, they know how to play right into all of it. The 2026 schedule release was last night on the SEC network. Of course, plenty of storylines. We knew the annual opponents. Most teams also knew their non-conference opponents. Yesterday, they put it all together, giving SEC fans something to root for in 2026 now that the 2025 SEC schedule is now in the books. Welcome to Southeast Sports Plus. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Patrick Walsh. Patrick, the SEC, they're kind of following an NFL model, understanding and knowing the drama. They've already said that, hey, we're going to 9 conference games for the first time. And now it's like, okay, what teams do you play when? And once again, the SEC understanding, you know what, let's feed into this the fun of the crowd.
Yeah, the first year that there's going to be 9 conference games, so you can get rid of one of your cupcakes or any of the other ones, but you have to play against another Power 4 team. And, you know, one of those games that you just alluded to, you know, the SEC just trying to beef up the storylines as if this one in particular wasn't already beefed up enough. Lane Kiffin is going to return to Oxford 3 weeks into the regular season. So, I mean, you know, just rip the Band-Aid off, you might as well. But I do really like this, not only because it's early in the season, but the fact that you don't know what these teams are going to be made of, obviously. Going into the year, I believe LSU has the Clemson game, and then Ole Miss has Louisville, but who knows what Louisville is going to look like and Clemson. I mean, we just saw the ACC this year not do great at all. A 7-5 team won the ACC. So, I mean, you're pretty much going to rip the Band-Aid off with SEC play with these two teams, and honestly, it could make or break the season that early, just from a mentality standpoint.
Absolutely, and you have so many components going into it because it's not only, you know, it's not Kiffin just going back to Ole Miss. And we knew that these are annual opponents, so Ole Miss, LSU, we knew they were going to play one another, but I like the fact that the SEC did two things: made it the SEC opener for the teams, and then also made the first trip of LSU going on the road to Ole Miss, and then the opposite in 2027.
Right.
And so I think that the NFL obviously knowing what it's doing, but then there's so many storylines and components going into it, because how many Ole Miss players do we see hit the transfer portal next month and now join LSU, and is there some that go vice versa? What new players are in the game? Obviously, you have Pete Golding against Lane Kiffin. You have I'm sure the ultimatum will get brought up about Lane Kiffin as soon as he left. They'll run those little sound bites from different talking heads saying, if you're not on the plane by the time we know you go. It's so. This to me is just so much. It's like your team didn't play in the. If you're a fan of a team that didn't play in the SEC championship game or going to a bowl or in the college football playoff, you just got reinvigorated for college football all over again just with the schedule release, and I think the height of it right there is in that game.
Yeah, you know, is it next season already? I cannot wait until this next season gets underway, and unfortunately we are a good almost year away. But you know, I think July will be here before we know it.
Oh yeah,
because this is the time of year where it's the transition over to basketball, and the SEC, as we saw last year in basketball, did pretty well for itself, and it looks like this year, I mean, I don't think they'll replicate that exact success, but they'll still have success.
Sure.
I mean, right now, I think if you look at some of the bracketologies that different sports media folks have put out, I believe Vanderbilt and Alabama both have top seeds if the season were to end today. So, I mean, I think it's going to be another great year for the SEC, and then soon, I mean, we're talking right now like, hey, you know, is it next season already? Before we know it, it's going to be April. We're going to be in Indianapolis watching, seeing what goes on there. And then I believe it's like right after that, the next weekend, it's SEC action in baseball.
Yep.
And then it's going to be the College World Series. And then there's that 1 month, that month of June after the College World Series ends, which I'm sure the SEC is going to be there. If not, it's going to be a major talking point in 6 months from now. But there's that 1 month where there's nothing, and then it's SEC Media Days, and then we're right back into it.
Exactly. And I was trying to remember, when does the World Cup start? I mean,
World Cup starts June 16th.
So that's the thing.
Boom, there we go.
Every year every 2 years we have it, whether it's World Cup and or Olympics, where that month is actually filled up with the international event, whether it's the
not
World
like
Cup
last
year. Yeah, it's not like last year.
We're just sitting around where it's like, all right, you know what's going on? Somebody make news today. Somebody do something.
Yeah.
You know, I think the golf was the big topic last year. I don't think golf's going to be the big topic this year or this next year.
Yeah.
But anyways,
so if you're a sports fan, your calendar's full.
Your calendar's full. You don't have to
from Christmas all the way to the college football season for next year.
You can apologize to your significant others, but there's no summers off here.
Exactly. So that's Ole Miss LSU to kick off the SEC schedule. But there's plenty of different storylines. Two teams that are in the college football playoff will also meet: Alabama, Texas A&M, and then how about this matchup a little bit later on? Alabama and Georgia, a rematch of the SEC championship game. Georgia finally got their get back. They got the championship game rematch win. Kirby Smart and company did a couple of weeks ago, and then now they get to play each other this time a little bit deeper in the year in October. October 10th is a big one there as well.
Yeah, a little bit deeper into the year, as you mentioned, and then Texas at LSU. Arch Manning returns to his home state of Louisiana. That's assuming that Arch is staying at Texas. I don't think he's going to leave Texas by any means, but crazier things have happened. And then we just talked about one homecoming for Lane Kiffin. LSU at Tennessee, November 21st. He's going to return to Knoxville. I don't think they'll throw golf balls at him this time.
And maybe
mustard. And mustard. I don't know what he would get thrown at this time.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would be interesting.
They'll do something. I mean, those Tennessee fans, they
rubber snakes.
Oh yeah,
rubber snakes. So if any Tennessee fan wants an idea for November 21st. Just go out. I'm sure they sell them at like your local store. Just go buy a ton of rubber snakes, but don't actually do this because I'm sure you'll get thrown out of the game. This is all in good fun unless you get a bunch of people, and then it's like, well, you can't throw us all out.
Right. Exactly. You can't arrest us all. But no, one of the big things about that game being late November that I find interesting is, obviously we're projecting a lot of games when we talk about this, is the fact that could be if a team has one loss or two losses, let's say both teams come in with that game with two losses, that could be a college football playoff determining game. And if both teams have one loss, it could be who's seeded higher than the other. I expect both teams to have good seasons. I expect Tennessee to return to form. Obviously, yesterday we talked about Coach Jim Knowles returning as going there as a defensive coordinator. Jim Knowles against Lane Kiffin's offense. There's a lot of interesting dynamics, and with it being so deep in the season, it could have college football implications.
Yeah, and another thing about that Texas LSU, as I bring the graphic back up here, these are two former USC guys going at one another.
That's
Steve
right.
Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin.
Yep.
So there are storylines galore along next season, and I can't wait for next season to be here already, even though we still have a playoff to go through.
Right.
But I mean, when you talk about LSU's schedule next year, I think you're glad that you host Texas.
Right.
But you have to go up to Oxford, and that place last year kind of haunted you.
Yep.
Again, it's going to be a new regime, so Lane Kiffin is going to go up against the team that won last year. And then you brought up a good point with the LSU-Tennessee game. That might be a college football playoff game. Those could be two losses right there.
Yes.
Ole Miss and Tennessee, and then you're like, okay, if you're LSU, you can't lose again. And I fully expect Dabo Swinney to have a great team back next year. I think this was a little bit of a down year.
Same.
Clemson started to find it at the end. Maybe they can win that bowl game up in the Bronx in Yankee Stadium to get some the Pinstripe Bowl to get some momentum rolling into next year. But I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if LSU made the playoff and was like a top 4 seed. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if LSU missed it.
Yeah, me too. And I feel like when you're in this league, all these games obviously are super important. And we talked a lot about Lane Kiffin and just the way that this team will have to kind of go through the schedule, because that game at Ole Miss, keep in mind that game will also be their first road game as well. They'll play Clemson, but that game's at home. It's the other Death Valley. It's the real Death Valley. And then they'll play La Tech in state before lining up there against Ole Miss. So and for Ole Miss, it'll be their third home game in a row there as well. They'll play 2 tune-up games. They'll play Louisiana, Nashville.
I think it'll be and it'll be
Charlotte.
Their second.
Yeah,
because the game in Nashville. But another game that I want to point out here that honestly is kind of interesting is Texas A&M Alabama.
Right.
Because Mike Elko has to replace both of his coordinators after they took other jobs. Some people might be like, well, going from the defensive coordinator position at Texas A&M to Kentucky might seem like a downgrade, but You got to remember, this year Mike Elko took over the play calling on the defense.
Right.
So maybe it isn't really that much of a downgrade. But again, we just talked about this yesterday. Who knows if that guy right there is going to be at Alabama next year?
I mean, point.
It's so it was the Penn State talk didn't make any sense to me. This one actually kind of does, because no offense to Penn Staters, the Michigan is a little bit of a better brand than you.
A little bit.
And I kind of made what could be a crazy take yesterday, in that Michigan's a better job than Alabama, and Alabama.
And I wanted you to clarify that, because are you talking from the path to the college football playoff just because the Big Ten is more top heavy?
That's one piece, and I think the donors around the Michigan program are better than the Alabama program.
Oh, so okay,
So money, Michigan wins. I mean, you look at. I mean, Dave Portnoy is one of the biggest examples of a donor to Michigan. I think Nick Saban kind of revitalized this Alabama program and brought it up to speed.
Yeah.
But I think Michigan's path to the playoff is a lot easier than Alabama's path to the playoff is.
Yeah.
Because you look top to bottom in the Big Ten, it does not compare to the SEC. You got to go through so many different teams.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that the Michigan job the Michigan job as it relates to the bounce back, the effect to be able to get into the college football playoff, what you have to go through is better than Alabama's. I think Alabama's obviously from a prestige and historical standpoint, I think they're probably on par. But Alabama, with Nick Saban having the more recent success, you just think of Alabama as the better job, obviously. And so this is going to be interesting, because for the first time since all this started, I am now like, at first I said, okay, no way he leaves for Penn State. This is the first one I'm entertaining. Like, I could see it happening. I could see it happening, and it's not for all these, excuse my language, stupid reasons that a lot of people think of, because the pressure's too much. You wouldn't follow Nick Saban if you were scared or intimidated by pressure.
Exactly.
You wouldn't follow the greatest if you didn't think that you could win a national championship. But I do think, like you were talking about, from a money perspective, the Michigan donor pile is a lot steeper, so to speak.
I mean, it was rumored that Bryce Underwood got $10 million to go to Michigan, and they yanked him away from LSU.
Yeah, and I know Portnoy's a big one, but I think the Ellison family is big as well. I think they have like 2 or 3 different billionaires that, for them, cutting a couple $1 million check is rounding error for them. I think that it'll be interesting to see if what's around the Michigan program is enough to entice him.
They are going to make him have to say no. There's just no other way. I said this yesterday. Michigan cannot afford to take a gamble on a guy that's never been a head coach before. So you know they're going to pay the buyout of one of these coaches from these schools. So the name Matt Campbell keeps getting thrown around, and could you just imagine?
Has the ink even dried on his Penn State contract?
No, I don't think so. I think it's still being written right now. Could you imagine? I mean, I'd feel so bad for all of those Penn Staters.
He could do what Bill Belichick did with the Jets. Just like you commit to the Jets, and then even before the first game, you just resign on a napkin. You're just like, I'm sorry, I'm leaving New York. I'm going to New England. Boom. That's what Matt Campbell can do before heading off to Michigan.